What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Point Forward, and Happy New Year. I'm not a New Year guy, ET. I'm just going to be quite honest because New Year's resolutions to me are like cop-outs. Like, if you need to get to something, why not just get to it like that day or tomorrow? Why you going like, oh, at the top of the year, I'm gonna do this?
Now that's where I feel you. Because to be completely honest, I was gonna wait till the top of the year to start some of my goals, and I was like, let me not kill that 6 weeks, and let me start at Thanksgiving and start hitting the ground running. You know what I mean? I just think it's a great reset. Yeah, it's just a great reset. Not everybody's as disciplined as you, Andre.
No. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because when you're about to take on something new, or like you nearing the end of something like a year, you're like, hey, let me indulge before I really lock in. I do get that part.
Yeah.
I get that part. So I apologize to anybody I offended, but in the future, if you need to change something, just do it. First things first, we're talking about what the hell is going on in the Bay. A lot of different things, a lot of different lineups. I've been following basketball a little bit more than usual. That sounds kind of weird, but yeah, I actually have been following basketball a little bit more than usual. Jump into that a little bit. And LeBron and Pharrell had a crazy Louis Vuitton collab now that Pharrell is the creative director over at LV, part of LVMH conglomerate. And we had some great era point guards announcing or calling it quits, Goran Dragic and Ricky Rubio. I thought it was those two guys kind of brought international basketball back on the scene. Some great wars going against Spain and Ricky Rubio since he was young. And shouts out to him on his career. And our guest on the pod this week is the one and only Ice Trae Young, who has been going crazy for Atlanta this year. It's like 35, 30, 33, 32, and then 10 plus assists every single night for the Atlanta Hawks. And so great conversation here from him. He's been, outside of his shivers from, crossing people over, shooting from half court. He's soft-spoken, but I feel like he opened up Paul's unlike, before. And so I was really intrigued to hear about, how he views himself now that, how you come into the league and you kind of get that buzz and it kind of wanes, where he's been able to continue to push those numbers. So that was one of my more honest and eye-opening conversations where I grew a new level of respect for him. So shout out to Trae,
wow.
And I hope y'all, yeah. Because you've been telling me about Trae for so long, but I just never really got a chance to be up close and personal to him like that. And you know how the league is. You don't really get to know guys outside of what you hear from someone else's point of view or perspective. And so I thought it was dope to sit down and have a conversation with him. I know he was a good dude. I knew that. But just to hear directly from the horse's mouth, as they say, it was cool.
Yeah, I think the reputation precedes him too. I think like in that environment when he had like his closest friends clearly and like who was around him, you can kind of get a gist of who he is as opposed to being Ice Trae inside the locker room and trying to carry a brand. But like he's a simple kid and like a decent dude who's like a big brother and takes that really serious. That's why I always had respect for him. So I'm like, he can't be that terrible because he cares. You know what I mean? He cares overly about his little brother. Like, you know what I mean? And
for sure.
Obviously, and then his game just speaks volumes. So I'm looking forward to this conversation.
For sure. But before we dive in today, quick PSA to our fellow Point Forwardians. I like that word.
Yeah, Forwardians.
All our important Floridians out there. Very important announcement on the addition we're adding to the show. Not as if we don't want to get pigeonholed as just another basketball podcast. I feel like everyone brings their unique perspective, and I do think we have some amazing content where tastemakers and influencers globally with the interest of basketball. And so don't want to take it in that direction, but we feel like we do have a lot of interest that we want to explore, and we want to share that with you all. And so we will be dropping on Wednesdays and Fridays. Why do you ask? As we continue the show, a reflection of ourselves and our interest, Beyond the Game of Basketball will be our Fridays. And so we will be talking business shop talk. And this week, we have a very, very special guest. Kind of interesting timing, as I just ran up on my guy randomly in a shopping mall.
I saw that. Yeah. I saw that.
Well, he reached out to me about a month ago, and we were just human to human texting on a different level, just being vulnerable and trying to support each other. And it happened because I guess he went to Best Buy. I haven't been in Best Buy in I don't know how long, like
probably
decade.
Over there Philly, probably over the one near Philly, near the in South Philly Best Buy.
Right. So I needed a what do you call it? A wireless keyboard and mouse for my simulator, my golf sim unit. And so I needed it right then and there, so I couldn't order it. So I just shot there and got it. And so he hit me like, yo, you in the area, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, how you know I'm over here? I guess he went to Best Buy too. And somebody was like, Iggy was just over here. And so he hit me, he was like, pull up on me. So I pulled up on him, and he's always ready to go with his camera. But it was like a candid moment to capture, super cool, super organic, super authentic. And you know how we feel about LaRussell. And so really, really super excited for our inaugural guest of the 2-drop era, starting this Friday. Like I said, none other than Bay Area lyricist LaRussell.
Hey.
Speaking of business, Point Forward is presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code POINTFORWARD, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Let's get straight into the nitty gritty. They got your boy straight out of county. First day out.
Hopefully he don't jump across the what's that called? Where the judge at? What's that called? Where the judge?
The pulpit. Nah, that ain't the pulpit. I know that.
That's the church. I was thinking pulpit too. Yeah. Like that's the church.
Shit, the Satan seat. God damn. Way they giving out them time. Giving out 87 years. You think you gotta be the devil? Like give somebody like, you know what, man? I'm finna give you 150. Anytime you look somebody dead in their face, give them all that time. You can't tell me there's not like a little racism in your blood, G. If you think somebody like deserves like 100 or some years, it's like, bro, you don't tell me you not racist. But anyway.
But DraftKings does have their lines, bets for folks, and I think we saw some interesting wages going up and down over the past couple of weeks. And this week, I think it's beautiful to see Draymond back on the court. A lot of good news coming from his camp as well with the, he's just signing, it seems like he signed an extension with his podcast network.
Nice.
That news dropped as well. So that's pretty dope. You know, he gave a very candid, open interview, or he spoke on the situation, and his past couple of weeks he's been out the game, so he's coming back. And it's interesting looking at the lines for title odds by DraftKings. The day before that Phoenix game, the Warriors at plus 1,800. The suspension was announced and then moved to plus 2,000, and then and they announced that it was coming back to play. It was at 3,500, and as of January 8th, it is at plus 4,000. This has been interesting. The Warriors have been up and down since he's been out. They went on a stretch where they won a bunch of games in a row, and then from there hit a little bit of a flat line. But they had some injuries. CP's out. Shout us out to CP. He will be back in a couple weeks. But speaking to you, there's a few things. State of the Warriors right now. What do you think it means when Dre returns? And then I want to ask you about Kuminga as well.
Yeah, I think one thing, obviously, they haven't been playing great, and you expect so much from, like, that trio and that dynasty that, like, whatever is bad seems 10 times worse. And I forgot who they lost to last night, but as we sit here, they're 17-19. Which ain't
Yeah, they lost to Toronto
yeah.
The other day, and they had a tough loss to Denver.
Yeah, that was a bad loss. That was a bad loss. Toronto was a tough loss, but I will say with an explosive like unit like that, where you got two guys that can catch fire, as we sit here at age 17 and 19, you know, once Draymond comes back, who says they can't go on a run? My only thing is when you know, when you're struggling like you do, you need every piece that you can get, and you know, every piece of experience that you can get. And obviously, Draymond might not knock you out the park in regards to like statistical numbers, but I think his experience and, you know, one thing that he knows how to do at the end of the day is, you know, get gritty and battle through. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when it's coming to that next level, I know you just mentioned Kuminga. It's like there's certain points in this matter where, you know, this can go a few different ways and keep going, you know, tragic, or it could transform into a thing where, you know, the newly reformed Draymond, I don't know if he wants to dive right into the lineup or feel like the chemistry is good the way it is, but this is a situation where he can transform into help picking and choosing where he can help.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, you know, mentoring and helping the next level and the next stage. I don't know how that feels, but I mean, Kuminga has a lot of gifts and does a lot of great things, and he's a mismatch problem at the four. And right now, when it's coming time to trying to get, you know, energy and explosion, not only getting your starters together, but you also got to get, you know, some of your second or third guys. And I think Kuminga has had a level to him that could be unlocked. And if it is unlocked, you know, you guys are that much dangerous. But
you guys,
I don't know. I mean,
I'll play for me.
Huh?
You said you guys. I'll play for me.
Oh no, that's real. That's real. Yeah, you're right.
No, I'm with you. Been watching. You know, the one thing I find disturbing is when reporters report on a guy in his camp, but haven't spoke directly to that guy. You know, it was said that Kuminga wasn't happy based on the words of his camp. I think he's done an amazing job of just coming to work every single day, putting on his hard hat. I think it's him and his fellow classmate in Moses Moody have just been very professional in how they approach their job, or what they get based on the situation.
Yeah.
You know, Moses has had some games where he's played a lot. He's had some games he hasn't played in and out the lineup, but he's always brought, you know, a level of professionalism, a level of dedication and hard work to the game every single day. You know, he got a standing ovation. He got put in the game after sitting a few games out. The crowd was chanting his name. You know, it was super interesting. So I think both of those guys have just been working, you know, the way they should be working coming into this league at a very young age. And it was the same was said for Moses too, like what his camp said. And so it disturbs me when reporters don't speak directly to the players and can blow something out of proportion, because that can, in turn, build a perception of what folks think about you.
Yeah, of course,
and it goes forward, and it might last your whole career, and it's like, wait, this is a good dude.
Yeah, and when you break it down as well, it's not even like perception of people that actually know. It's perception of like the casual listeners when it's like, oh, well, Jonathan Kuminga, their problem over there is that he won't sacrifice and he's a nutcase. You know what I mean? And sometimes, and there's so many more people that read it that way than not. That like you're building, you know, you're building a reputation on them. On top of the fact that like Steve really had to answer that bullshit. There was real press conferences where Steve had to really answer a question on if this man said something or not. And it's like, bro, what are we talking about? And like, if he's not playing, like, he'll keep working at it, but he's not wrong for not wanting to play. That's crazy.
That's the grand theme of things. Like, I don't want anybody working with me that doesn't want
to play.
To work.
Yeah.
Essentially. You know, somebody, I want to work. That's the type of person I want on my team. But that's the world we live in with sports. Kuminga's improved player odds. It's a far fetch at this point, but he's still odds on him. How about that?
What are the odds?
The odds starting the season were at plus 5,500. Now, as of January 8th, the odds are plus 20,000.
Damn, you got to blame your coach. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, yeah, it's funny. I think, what did my man say? BJ Armstrong had a pretty crazy clip
Yo, I saw that.
when he
I
was
saw that.
when he was mentioning the Warriors, and he was like, "You got to understand, it's a business." He's like, "Are you wondering why Moses Moody and John Kuminga aren't playing? Of course they should be playing, but it's a business." He said, "You're playing Clay, you're playing Chris Paul." He's like, "Should you be building towards the future?" Correct me if I'm wrong, like, but should you be building towards the future? For sure, but money matters, business matters, and I think he said something. Until Steph decides that like he doesn't have a chance with these guys anymore, then they're just going to keep trying. You know what I mean? So
I got a question for Evan Turner.
Yeah.
How would Evan Turner feel, or what would Evan Turner's sentiments be if he was in Steph Curry's position and at every turn someone was sending shots at him based on the actions of someone else? And so Stephen A. said that Steph wasn't a great leader because of what happened with Draymond, or B.J. Armstrong is saying, well, Kuminga and Moody won't play, and still Steph says so because he's saying, I've still got time and I'm still making my run at this chip. Like, you know, the young dude's got to wait. And it's like he's just getting, you know, darts are being thrown his way at every direction. Well, how would Evan Turner respond to that noise?
I think there's two different, like, me sitting back, I would have been like, oh, like, got upset. But I think there's two different ways to view it. How you are able to get through to Draymond is one thing, because you're probably the only person that can get through to Draymond. And when it comes down to being like, yo, the Bay Area belongs to Steph, then everything involved belongs to Steph, whether you think so or not. And I'm taking this out of page out of Dame's book, because Dame was like involved in everything. Like he stepped up and was like, nah, it's my shit. So if it comes down to it, it's like, yo, this is like, my G, rock. But it's like the 100th time you done wild it. Like, you understand what I'm saying? And it's like, all right, I don't know what conversation they had or what they didn't have, but if they're not having those combos, it's like, yo, we don't have room for error anymore. We're getting older. You feel what I'm saying? Now, I don't blame any part of Steph relying on the dudes that built the dynasty with him and went to war with him at all. Now, that goes down to the front office or the coaches. Because the same way that Mark Jackson was brave enough to trade Pharrell, right, so Klay Thompson could develop and get David Lee up out of there, that took a coach and somebody with guts to step up and do so and lead this franchise forward, which eventually led to 4 championships. When he went and said, like, he had to go talk to certain people in the front office, it's like, yo, bro, Kobe Bryant went and got Andre Iguodala to defend. What the hell are y'all talking about? Before y'all know it, y'all gonna say some more off-the-wall shit to disrespect this man. So, like, when it comes down to playing the bad guy, it becomes the coaches. When it comes down to getting everything in the locker room taken care of, it becomes the players. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, now you're gonna tell the coach to shut the fuck up anyways, or like you barely know the coach. And it's our locker room. I'm just saying, and it's our locker room if you're really tight with the players. If the team is really tight, it's our locker room. And that's not like saying you don't listen to the coach, but it's like, no, it's a healthy locker room. We're all together.
I'm only laughing because I had teammates throughout my career who would ask this one question: what's that coach's name?
Yeah, you don't know, bro. And sometimes, bro, and then and then you wonder, bro, you might see one dude curse out. I remember one time I saw Jonas Sharapko curse out my position coach, right? So I was like, damn, that's crazy. And then I was like, man, that's wild. You don't think that's crazy? It's like, well, I mean, we don't really know each other. I mean, this will be my 4th time talking to Jonas. And I was like, damn. Like, but like that's how much you mind your own fucking business, G. Like, to be honest with you. So you call it that. But I think one thing with Steph is like, they give everybody else like, oh, this is their fault. Like, there's certain leadership things where he has to stick up, especially like once it starts getting closer. But all that other shit on who should play, like Bob Myers got up out of here and threw the gun in somebody else's lap and so on and so forth. So, you know what I mean? Like, the real combo is being like, nah, G, I'm supposed to hit some jumpers and stop people from fighting each other. Steve and them supposed to be doing their job. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs, is bringing you an offer that will help make the playoffs electrifying. New customers can bet $5 on any game and get $200 instantly in bonus bets.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code POINTFORWARD. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code POINTFORWARD. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
So Bob Myers just took a position with the Washington Commanders. And Bob has been maneuvering quite well.
Yeah, that's a slippery motherfucker. Yo, that's a the way that man threw that gun in the whoa, I'm up out of here.
But he was up for a new contract and he didn't get it. So, a lot goes into it. Or, I can't speak for him. Maybe there were things he may have wanted to do but couldn't have. We don't know. We don't know the situation. But it's looking like he knows how to play chess. I'll just leave. I think the only person who publicly has spoken to him about it is Charles Barkley. And that was a lot of fun to see. Because Charles, he had his sentiments and he said, oh, you share the same ones as I did. And that's why you sit next to me right now. But he's on the football side now. So, you always speak on, what will our last dance, or I shouldn't say our last dance, their last dance look like, how will it be recorded? You look back in 15 years from now, like, what are we going to gather from it? And that's going to be a unique part of the story. So, everyone's going to keep a close eye on where everyone falls, who was deeply embedded into it.
Yeah, and it's funny with the Commander situation. Our former governor from the Sixers, actually. Wait, were you with Josh Harris or no?
I was with Josh Harris.
Yeah, Josh Harris.
I was there with him for like a year or two. One year at least.
Yeah, so, when we were with the Sixers back in 2012, Josh Harris, David Blitzer, those are two of the guys that own the Sixers. They're good dudes, man. Very good people.
Good dudes,
they literally were trying their best to, they had intent to really do something ideal with the organization. So they got the players up out that bullshit college basement at Pecan where they practice and built them a real practice facility.
Did y'all start getting food?
We started getting food once Josh showed up. Classy dudes, and then Magic Johnson's on the board, on the advisory board as well. So there's no guarantee that that Myers is going to be like the new GM or whatever, but definitely part of the advisory board. And since they fired Ron Rivera, who made he's like Doc Rivers. He made all the decisions that came down to basketball and the front office moves. So they're rebuilding.
I didn't know that.
They're rebuilding everything. So it should be pretty smooth.
I think they got a stadium too. They might do a new stadium.
Yeah, now that'd be crazy. I was wondering, so when you break it down and you think about the NBA and everything that involves in the NBA, it's like, maybe I could be tweaking, but Bob Myers went from building a franchise, building a dynasty, to being able to switch. And now they want his minds and other assets and other fit, like in a different sport, which is football. Where do you think the significance of what the NBA means in this day and age now? Like 15 or 20 years ago, we almost seemed like we were like teenagers or still maturing in a sense of business or what success in the NBA meant. Now it's like they're going to the point of like, hey, what mind built this great thing? Or when it's coming down to you per se, like you just went from playing in the NBA, playing in one of the greatest dynasties, helped build a union, to now being able to be the acting director of the union. So what do you think, having success in the league means these days, and where are we taking it to, just to, set the stage?
Well, I will say we're the most visible athletes in terms of how we give our product to the consumer. And so, you can see our face. We're on average the tallest. So our physique, I think, just our frames as well, our athletic prowess, and the way that our game is played. Not to say we're their best athletes, but all those things, the way the game is played, the way we look, the way we carry ourselves, the way we dress, the way the game has evolved. And, you've had some great minds along the way who have, this thing called taste making. And I think we were I don't think we were the first influencers. I think you give that to more higher social economic
Soccer
communities.
players, yeah.
When you talk about like golf and you talk about tennis,
Yeah.
you know, how the IMG started. You started with very, very high-end sports. You know, I think there was a reason why you didn't see many African Americans in those sports, because you had to have that tutelage at a young age. And it was a very expensive things to participate in. And the way they were endorsed, you know, where they went from tennis racket or a golf ball or a golf bag. And, you know, even golfers are being endorsed by private wealth management companies, you know, insurance companies, you know, and then I think Michael Jordan was kind of the first one to, you know, we all saw the movie, the Nike movie about Michael Jordan that came out last year. We saw Air, and you kind of got a glimpse of how it all began and how you wanted to market someone like Michael Jordan. And so that was like the infancy. And like you're saying, we've kind of grown up a little bit. You know, that was 40 years ago. And so we're kind of just getting right into the middle of your prime. In terms of a businessman, like, you know, you talked about doctors, lawyers, businessmen, like, we hit our stride as basketball players at 20, 21, 22 in terms of we getting into the game. And that's odd. That's not the reality for most folks. Most folks start hitting their stride around anywhere 50. From 32 to 38 in terms of like realizing who they are. And then, like you say, they like at 50 is when like, oh, boom, like I'm at my peak. And so we're getting closer and closer to being there. And globally, the way David Stern, rest his soul, you know, he wanted to expand with the Dream Team, and then how he cracked the code on China. And then now what we're trying to do in Africa, because, you know, we got a lot of talent starting to come from there, but the game has been globalized in a way where we can touch all different points. And it's just amazing to see how, you know, athletes are getting smarter and smarter with how they're doing, how they're going about their business, and how they're trying to level up, not just as players, but being more than that. Like, you know, you're seeing more and more athletes have equity in things. That was the next level. You know, it went from transactional, pay me to use my likeness, to I want to help build the company from within. You know, I heard Charles Barkley say, Michael Jordan told me to change my contract with Nike to not get paid in cash, but get paid in stock. And now it's, I want a whole piece of the company. And so now I can see how much, and they can track it too. You know, analytics just isn't for sports. You know, how many threes you should take a game, or how many dribbles you should take per possession, but it's also when, you know, how do I affect the company's market cap? You know, it was said Kanye West was a multi-billion-dollar market cap mover for Adidas. You know, we saw that up close and personal. And so I think more athletes are starting to level up and think more about it.
Or you forget, we bring up Ye one more time. You're talking about $1 billion, like, and shout out to, you know, what they did. But I mean, he basically built, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, he built a couple $1 billion companies.
Yes,
whatever he left for wifey and that, like, you know what I mean? So when you sit there, and this is what I've argued,
and he'll never get the credit.
And he'll never get the credit, but they'll throw it in everywhere that they blackballed him out of. And this is what I think sometimes people don't understand. Like, I use this for the example of we say the Steph effect, or even sometimes when great things happen, like it's like the Dre effect, like, you know what I mean? And sometimes something might trickle down, like, to my friends, where it's like, all right, it's the Evan effect, but it's like there's certain people that are like so golden and such a big, you know what I mean? Like, they're a cash cow that, like, legit they can put everybody on. And I feel as though when it comes to an athlete, or as you see like with Michael Jordan, or see with some of these people in this high up position, this is the standard if they get the opportunity and get the platform and the access to do so, and not kind of have a glass ceiling. You know, we went from making, you know, Pistol Pete to making $1 million in a season to 50 years later. I mean, we're about to, I mean, Tatum, or a 15-year-old is about to make $1 billion in his career. Like, you know what I mean? And that's crazy. And I think it's not about, you know, the one trick pony. It's about maximizing everything. And I think that's where people lose sight of it at. It's like, all right, bro, if I can score here, there's another spot that I can score at. It's not like, oh, you leave the league or you get out of here and it just ends. It's like, no, G, you touching money, you golden, like, you finesse from there.
Point forward.
Kind of leads me to a topic you brought up for the week with Louis Vuitton and Pharrell bringing on LeBron. And you got a dope phrase that you've coined. You got a dope phrase that you've coined in terms of You know, he had some dope pieces that he came out with. I think it was shot so well. Is that $1 million bag?
I think that was $1 million bag or something.
Which is crazy. He got the pajamas, and I'm a big pajama guy now. Like, I've been treating myself to very, very nice pajamas.
You deserve it,
because I'm big
man.
on sleep. But I think that speaks to, you know, we going all the way back to, it's funny, I never heard, I didn't understand the Jay-Z line for like decades. It was a Dapper Dan line.
Was it smart enough to open the market up? Okay, keep going.
It was from the Blueprint, and he mentioned Dapper Dan. But he said it in a way I didn't know who Dapper Dan was, and I didn't get it. And as I got older, I'm like, oh, that's the Dapper Dan he's talking about. But Dapper Dan was taking Louis Vuitton material, and then he was making his own clothes and selling it in Harlem, right?
Yeah, so Mike Tyson, all them dudes would be going over there. And that's where Mike Tyson knocked out Kurt Green, or Mitch Green. Keep going.
Oh, that was where that was?
Outside. Yeah, he thought he killed him.
Wow,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so Dapper Dan took different fabrics. So whether it was Fendi, whether it was MCM, whether it was Gucci, and then now obviously Dapper Dan has a proper collab with Gucci that was really, really, really dope, and was good to see, like, paying homage to, because our culture tells folks what to wear. I think there are two cultures. You know, they do it in Tokyo, amazing. In Japan, they do it. And then I feel like, you know, our culture, we do it over here in America, where we kind of show people which way to go. Now, they are coming out with some new things on the tech side. You know, look at companies like Allbirds, or On is having a moment right now, or Lululemon. But I still think, you know, everyone's trying to gravitate to that more fashion forward side of everything, is to kind of officially cross over. And I think that's where we lead the charge. So seeing this is kind of to what we're speaking about. You know what I mean? We're speaking to how us as athletes, as basketball players, how we influence, how we become tastemakers. And I think it speaks to, you know, the collaboration like this.
Yeah, and bro, it's just crazy. I mean, Pharrell was a dude making beats.
Mm-hmm. With
you know what I mean?
With Teddy.
With the Neptunes.
Teddy was the dude before the Neptune. Oh, Teddy Riley.
Oh, Teddy Riley
was how he got on. Yeah.
So he did. Teddy Riley did Bobby Brown's joints and all them.
Yes. We're going way back. So Teddy Riley was that dude. He was like competing with the verses with Babyface, but his camera kept showing up in the speakers. Take it off.
Yeah. Man, they was trying to do their thing that day too. That hurt me, man. But what I'm saying is like with the Pharrell thing, bro, like he went from just skateboarding and doing, like, you know what I mean, Billionaire Boys Club to like Louis Vuitton. Creative director for Louis Vuitton is crazy. Mm-hmm. And then like back in the day, like with those big designs, only like David Beckham or somebody would really get that. You know what I'm saying? And now we went from doing like an NBA collab to like, this is Bron, the top athlete in the world. You've seen Cristiano Ronaldo do it numerous times. You've seen, you know, on certain big stages. You even seen what's the little short dude name? He little. That's why Messi. Yeah, little nigga Messi.
I said Messi. Okay.
Yeah, Messi or whatever. But that's pretty crazy, man. So I thought that was lit. If you could, Tom Brady did Tom Ford, and then he had like a cardiac.
I missed that one. I missed
it. Man, Lannister. Look, if you could do, who would you do? Pause.
If I can do a collaboration?
If you could do a collaboration, it was just like Andre Iguodala for Lululemon.
You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb.
I want to hear this now.
I haven't been able to speak to it. I don't want to cause any controversy around it, but I felt the way about the Skims thing. So I'm speaking from that perspective, and in terms of, like, you know, how the African-American male athletes, successful ones, have been assisting certain brands raise their profile. I'll just leave it at that. So if I had to pick one, they don't even have a men's line yet. I'm picking Fenty and Rihanna.
Oh, I like that. Damn, I like that a lot. Bro, that's crazy.
I know you like it.
Yeah, I
know you like it.
That's
and
hard.
I just thought of that right now.
Damn, that's impressive. Well, shit, I can't think of nothing that creative, so I'm gonna go with some ratchet shit. So let's see. I'm gonna go with I'll probably do like I'm Leon Dore.
Oh no, that's cold.
Yeah, but they're dope. Or I would do
dope.
I think I would do. That's some shit I use all the time.
That is some joints I see you with.
I would love to do like a Goyard thing or something wavy.
Goyard would be dope. Goyard would be dope.
Yeah, or like
'Cause you a traveling man. You be everywhere, and you
That's what I'm
international. International Marcel.
oh, that's hard. That's hard. Yeah, but those are probably the only two I want to do. I think I would want to do that. I can't think of anything. What about watch? Would you do like a Richard Mille or?
Cactus Jack had the collab of the year last year. I give him that with AP.
AP.
Yeah, he had a good collab. But if I had to pick a watch, there's a watch company called HYT I like a lot too. That's like horology. That's like on some other stuff. Like they got pieces of the moon in their watches.
Point. Forward.
So Dre, recently, obviously, you saw the clip where they asked LeBron James about at the wrong time about Ricky Rubio getting retiring, what he thought about.
I missed that.
You didn't see that? It was basically they just lost. They just got the shit beat out of them. And some reporter was like, LeBron, you hear about Ricky Rubio retiring? And you know what I mean? LeBron is kind of like, what? Like, Ricky, good luck, hell of a career. Like, if I don't sound sincere, I'm sorry. But like this dude, the timing is terrible. Like, we just lost by 30, but hell of a career. And then Goran Dragic, he just announced he retired as well. And he said his final game. He's doing something that's pretty cool. I thought that was pretty dope. He's having a final game with some of his favorite players. So it'll be like, I think Jimmy Butler, who else? Steve Nash, Luka Doncic. They're all playing in this game.
Oh, that's dope.
Luka Doncic, who else? It's like right now they got like 6 or 7 people. But the big names are Steve Nash, Luka Doncic, Jimmy Butler. I believe Jokic is going to play. Yeah, and there's a couple other players. But I thought that was a pretty good way to go out. Dragic, when you break down when he first came into the league, which was like, 17, 18 years ago. Hardship. He came in, backing up the Suns, backing up Steve Nash, league MVP. So to really, see where he started from there, from being like, a prodigy, coming from a small country like Slovenia to, making it to All NBA to, you guys played in a championship together, right?
We played in Miami together. Yeah. So Goran was always a hard-nosed player, a little chippy, but he had a crazy skill set to him. Like he could always get to his shot. He was very crafty, could get to the basketball. He had something that the game has lost. He had a elite IQ with gamesmanship. Yeah. So he knew how to manipulate the game in a respectful way, And I would say the same for Ricky Rubio, not being known as a shooter, still had crazy high assists. Going back and forth against Spain, the U.S., it was always like the battle. That gap has been shrinking over the years, and so. Wishing them nothing but the best.
Yeah, and for those 2 point guards, I mean, we go back and when you break it down in regards to like the European standpoint, for those two to come over here and be able to have the success that they did have and kind of battle on that level, I believe, not giving them the whole credit, but they allowed to help grow the game of basketball and continue to make it international and then continue to make it happy and excited. You even see like the Redeem Team. What was it with Dwayne Wade, that documentary? They were talking, they were showing, what was it, the 2012 Olympics? Was it 2012 Olympics or 2016?
No, the Redeem Team was 2008. Redeem Team was 2008.
Yeah, or 2012, whatever Olympics that was, and they were showing them playing versus Spain and how big of a deal that was. I believe Ricky Rubio was on that team as well. So shout out to them. Hell of a career. I was wondering with this final game situation, in the grand scheme of things, who are some people that you would have come play in your final game? I feel like it would be legit. And I feel like you could get people to show up to your final game too. People would really show up.
But like, could Allen Iverson play today?
Yeah, fuck it. He alive?
All right, so
man, Iverson could play.
Today, could he play? Like, do he want to play?
Because
you see his crossover in his commercial, it was looking like, all right, man, I got 2 takes, man. I'm gonna make it look like it's something.
Nah, you're right. You're right.
Allen Iverson, one of my favorite players of all time. People don't know this. Was I started watching basketball. It was the Bulls and it was the Fab Five, and so I actually got a chance to play with Chris Webber. Many people don't remember that, and I learned a lot from him. Just his passing ability, the bigs that can really pass the ball. Like he was ahead of his time. because he played with Vlade Divac, who was ahead of his time too in terms of the player he was when he joined the Lakers. And so AI, Chris Webber, Andre Miller, of course. Lou Williams playing for sure. Drew Holiday playing for sure.
Damn.
Evan Turner playing for sure. Somebody gonna be mad again left off. Obviously, Steph, Clay, Draymond, KD just got to warm up. He can do whatever he want. He can play. He can warm up. KD just got to be there. I don't know, but I did play on the Olympic team too, and so Kobe for sure. Yeah, and then the World Championship team was a ton of fun. We had a ton of fun on that World Championship team.
Lamar Odom.
Yeah, Lamar
Had to
Odom.
be Lamar Odom for sure.
Lamar Odom. LO. Me and LO chopped it up one day, like on some, next level, like I said, human to human, like the conversation I had with Russell, and like we were just talking about life, and big respect for LO. I got a lot of guys I would play with. We would probably have 2 teams. We can get a whole 2 rosters.
Yeah, obviously, but I feel like mine would, mine's always, it wouldn't be no turned up people, but it'd be you, Lou, Elton Brand, Spencer, Drew Holiday, Dame
PG?
Lillard. Nah, not PG. Nah, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, Isaiah Thomas.
I'll do Isaiah Thomas.
Avery Bradley?
Oh, Avery is one of my favorite defenders. I would do Avery. You want to know who I would get? Tyler Zeller.
I like the Zellers.
Yeah, the Zellers. Kelly Olynyk. You want to know somebody? You want to know somebody that I always...
Jimmy Bam. I'm tripping. Jimmy and Bam. I'm tripping. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. You got some players, bro. You want to know who I would get? Steam Room Mafia, Al Farouk Aminu, Maurice Harkless.
Oh, yeah. Mo Harkless. Yeah.
I'm starting the homies out the trenches. Like, all the high-profile dudes, like, them niggas might get 7 minutes and, like, 3 shots, okay? So every nigga that they got, like, a ring and, like, all that shit, it's like, no, this ain't where you play at, champ. Like, you can take a break. Yeah,
Will anybody make the cut? Will anybody make the cut from Indiana team?
I think you always gotta show respect to D West.
Okay, I just talked to him too,
bro. I fuck with Scola heavy.
Scola could go.
Yeah, and he is thorough. One that you would forget, G, and maybe it meant nothing to you, but he's my dog, and he's like one of my favorites. Sean Livingston would be my first choice.
Damn, but Sean and I go back to kindergarten. He on for sure.
No, that's what I'm saying. You know him. For me personally.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, throw Shump in there. We played middle school ball together. Me and Shump been playing. We played in the same. I feel like we were like. We played up. I played 7th grade and 8th grade. Shump was 5th grade. I was 6th grade. So we were always like the 2 little kids that played up. But from the crib, either Shump or Sean Livingston is like one of my idols, like all the time, just growing up. I got a picture of me, you, and Sean walking into a building, and that was like, I got it. Okay, yeah, it's one of my favorite pictures ever.
Yeah. Oh damn, I gotta get that framed. I'm gonna get it framed up.
Yeah.
And then I forgot, I ain't pick nobody from my Denver team.
Ty Lawson probably or JaVale McGee. Yo, Gallinari, don't go there. Gallinari was the truth. Gallinari.
I know. I'm waiting. I'm like Gallo.
Yeah,
Gallo was the truth.
And give this man his credit. Because he don't ever give Wilson Chandler, just as a human, a competitor. Even if you just saw him on the street, he was just a good dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Stopped.
Like
you just stopped.
He didn't bother his soul, like just a good dude, could hoop. He was a formidable starter too. He had like a good 7 years of starting in the league. Excuse me.
No, yeah, for sure. No, he could play. He had some great years in New York. Yeah, for sure.
Make sure to subscribe to Point Forward wherever you listen to your podcast and follow us on all social channels at Point Forward.
Point Forward.
So welcome back today for another episode of Point Forward. Myself, Evan Turner, the Honorable Andre Iguodala. Today we have a special guest. When I met him, he was a small fry, and now he's a big dog making big moves. The one and only Trae Young. Trae, thanks for coming on today.
My God, appreciate you. Appreciate y'all for having me on, man.
So you come from Oklahoma, but you out here, you enjoying this California lifestyle. That's where you train out of during the off season and everything?
Yeah, I've been training out here since my pre-draft, and so like now it's about to be my 5th summer really, yeah, my 6th summer, and just out here, and I have like a routine. My trainer's out here, and it's been really good for me every year.
Let's go over that routine, because I always tell people, because we used to joke during a game. I used to be like, yo, how many floaters do you think you can make in the first half? And he'd be like, maybe 6 or 7. We come at halftime and be like, bro, Shorty really made 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And then, like, you look at his handle, his floater, and his jumper, and then his quickness, and then the passing. I used to always be like, bro, who the hell trained you? Because literally, offensively, I always felt like your skill set, what you were able to do was obviously next level, but at the same time, it was all there so quick at a young age. So, like, go over your routine, what you feel like was for the game, and who you watched growing up to make yourself in that position. Because it's something at a different level that people really don't understand.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, my all season, like, I always start off with the lift in the morning, and I get on the court around noon or 2:30 with my trainer if we're not in some runs up and down. But I've been having like a routine of working on like my floaters. Like when I'm on the court, I always work on my floaters, my mid range, and my threes. Like I don't just work on just one set of things. Like I really work on everything. So I've been having this kind of like routine every summer. I mean, some days I'll have 3 days and I'll work out. I'll even come back later at night and just shoot and not even really go hard. I'll just work on touch things and certain spots on the floor. I'll just work on my touch. So that's pretty much what it is. I've had this like crazy thing in the summer. Like I don't like taking too much time off. Like even after college, like I mean I didn't even really want to take time off really then. When I found my agent, I told him I wanted to come out here. I told Omar I wanted to come out here after the Wooden Awards or whatever. It was like right after the season, and I told him, I said I want to start immediately. So like I've always just had like a crazy like work ethic when it comes to like just wanting to always be in the gym.
So considering that, a lot of people know your dad played basketball at Texas Tech, correct? Mm-hmm. So discuss that upbringing and you know how you got into the game of basketball, because we usually like to ask, you know, how'd you get here? And sometimes there's a broad spectrum of how'd you get to the league or how you even came on the pod. But talk about some of those early moments.
Yeah, no. So for me, like, so when my dad was playing, I was really around like my grandpa, like his dad, and my mom's parents in a small town, Pampa, Texas. It's close to Lubbock, Texas, where he went to school. But my mom was a year younger, so she was still in high school, and I was around them. But I was really around my grandpa a lot growing up, and just watching that because he was still playing. He played a little bit in the D League back then in Houston, and then went overseas. We lived in Portugal for a couple of years. So
Wow, that's what's up.
Yeah, so I lived over there. I look forward to going back there to actually know what I was a part of. So it was so long ago I don't really remember. But yeah, just always being around my grandfather, and then yeah, just following him around now.
What has, because I've seen you grow up like almost like in the NBA. Like I think it's pretty cool. Like how often do we see? It's like you and Tatum. Like we see all y'all as kids taking pictures with NBA players, like all of them.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you growing up in the league from a different perspective as of like, if you see a young engineer and we see like a young phenom, like a young Albert Einstein, they surround him with all the great minds of the world. But it's funny because in the sports world, we rarely see that. But it's like, why not take our phenoms and surround them by the best NBA players? Just because it's like we're pulling the next crop of guys along at a young age. And do you how has that helped you or hurt you? How did you see that? Like, I'm seeing these guys and this is what I want to be. Like, how did that help your psyche when you know, growing up in that and then getting to the league?
Yeah. I think it was a blessing and a curse. I think like I was fortunate enough, like I was saying, my dad played, and so he knew a lot of people in the business, and so we knew some guys with the Thunder, or my dad did, and so I was able to meet guys like KD and go take pictures like when I was a kid and we had season tickets, and that was one of the expenses my dad made when he got a really good job, and we were able to that was one of his big investments, was taking me to the games and making sure I was at the games. And So we always went to games, and so whenever guys like David Vanderpool and then would come in town, I would be able to meet. I know you know him. And so that's what I'm saying. Like being able to meet Dame when he was a rookie, like those pictures pop up now, and it's like it's crazy. But I really looked up to those guys, and like they really meant a lot to me. And sometimes like I feel like a lot of elite guys do get to meet those type of guys and meet certain guys at a high level, but don't understand like what it really takes to get there.
Yep.
And don't really like necessarily. For me, I like asking questions. I really like listening and taking advice from some of these guys. So like I think it's an approach too of how like when you meet these guys, what you're asking, what's your mentality when you see these guys too. So I think those were the things that I really took from it.
You think that situation, sometimes you think about the line, it's like your attitude determines your latitude. So your dad put you in those situations to go meet some of your favorite NBA players 6 or 7 years before you hit the pros. Was that something that kind of, felt like made you prep and made you ready to compete? Because even when we played in Portland, you and Dame had a couple battles where I'm like, damn, this little motherfucker ain't scared of him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
for
did
sure.
you not get the memo?
Yeah.
Shit.
No, it's crazy, bro. Like there's so many people like I've been able to have relationships with. Like there's pictures of me and Chauncey when Chauncey was playing with the Pistons, and like I was probably in like 4th, 5th grade or even younger, but like I was able to like going into college, I was able to go to Denver and work out with him for a weekend and just pick his brain, go to his house and ask him questions, and just like it's crazy just some of the relationships that I've had, and it's kind of weird, and I know it's weird for them too whenever some old pictures pop up and I'm a little kid and they're younger and we're here now. But I mean, I really do remember those moments and really appreciate those certain moments that I've had with a lot of these guys.
Throughout your career, like you've accomplished a lot. With you just finished your 5th year, right? You accomplished a lot. You've been to the All-Star team 3 times. You make it 3rd team twice. You've been 3rd team All NBA. Like those aren't.
Led the league in assists 2 years.
Right, led the league in assists. Like you're in your 3rd shoe, which is like a big thing.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Like Adidas, like we're talking about big brands. We're not talking about you get a shoe just because you're one of the first athletes at it up and coming shoe brand. Like the lineage of Adidas basketball players, that's like a big thing. Kobe, T-Mac, Gilbert had an amazing shoe. Dame's had a long run. Like Adidas is known for picking the right type of talent. You've accomplished so much. Is there how do you stay balanced in it all? And there's a lot thrown at you. Do you just take it all in terms of like, I'm just going to enjoy it all and I'm just going to ride this wave? Or do you get a chance to step away from it and just be, calm or just getting away from the game?
For me, like I like to do a little bit of both. Like I like to enjoy and appreciate like certain moments that like I have or like certain moments that we have, because like you never know when it's going to happen. Like again, like it's not easy making it to the championship. So like you want to appreciate every time you do. Like I know a lot of players who haven't made it to the conference finals, like, and it's crazy because there's some legends and really good players that don't even make it that far. But like, so like I've learned to like, I really want to appreciate every like moment and accolades that we get. But I'm like, at the same time, like in my head, like I haven't reached the heights that I wanted to in my 5 years. I wanted to be more. I wanted to obviously win a championship, but I understand it's not that easy. Like, but I want more for myself and for my team. So there's like that hunger that pushes you and makes you go for more. So, I mean, I always try to do a little bit of both and not be satisfied where I'm at. And I think that's why like I'm always gonna have hunger, because I know I haven't achieved everything I really want to yet.
How about speaking of first few years? I know you say you try to enjoy certain moments, but was it tough to enjoy because there's always a Luka Doncic comparison, or trying to lead a franchise, and obviously when you're Trae Young and you're top 5 in both points and assists, you've seen a couple of years they'll throw the gun in your lap for any mistake. Have you been able to navigate and feel any type of progression in regards to that leadership ability and the maturity that comes from a point guard and a franchise leader that you can't escape from? I remember working with you when you were 20 and you're still figuring it out, but where do you go? How you feel about it now?
Yeah, no. No, when it comes to the comparison stuff, I know there's been worse comparisons. So like, to be honest, like that don't really like affect me. Like for me, I laugh at certain things, and like, to be honest, I know we're both at like a certain level. A lot of guys aren't even at or haven't even been to. So, and we're just starting our careers for real. So, I don't look into our comparison too much. I let other people do that, but for me, I've just gotten to really to a place where I really get to just like now I'm me and DJ in the backcourt. Like we have a really good coach in Quin that's going to help us lead this team. Like we're really in a place that I'm at a place like I know what I need to do to help our team be more successful. And it starts with like chemistry, and it starts with being with your teammates in the summertime, spending time texting them, calling them, being in the gym when you're in the same cities, or inviting them to LA. It's just like certain things that I know now, like that I didn't know necessarily when I was a rookie or my sophomore year, that I needed to do for a team to be successful. So I think it's just helped that I got more years for sure.
How was that shock for you in terms of, we were talking to Gilbert Arenas the other day, and we were speaking on, our youth and how they're coming up, and our very talented youth. We know who's going to be next. And he said something that you never can prepare for is the criticism. Mm-hmm. And it's like, in high school, we are who we are. It's really hard to criticize us. You can try to pick our game apart, but we dominate. And then in college, I was just talking about Michael Beasley the other day. I didn't even realize you broke the scoring records on Michael Beasley and Kevin Durant.
Yeah, nah.
Like, it's shit's crazy.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to criticize that. But when you get to the league, everybody's criticized. Like, nobody can duck that. And so how did you adjust to the way you reacted, because we all are humans. And regardless if you react out loud or it's internal, how have you reacted to the criticism, and then how have you been able to mature knowing that it's coming from people who aren't the experts?
Yeah. Well, for me, I think, like you said, I think it started for me in college a little bit too. Like, I was playing, I was talking with my dad the other day, like, it's crazy. Like, they were showing my stats on, like, other teams that were playing during the games, like, while I wasn't even playing in that game, like, just a score check. And I'm like, it got to a point, but then we started going through a downward part of this end of the season, and a lot of people started criticizing my game. Like, at one point, I was the number 1 draft pick. I was going to be number 1. We were number 3 in the country, like, and then we started losing. So I started facing a little bit of a scrutiny then, and a lot of backlash, because I was on ESPN every day. I was talked about every day, and then it was all good, and then it went to bad. And so getting into the league after my rookie year, rookie year was, a lot of people don't really expect too much from rookies. And me and Luka, the trade wasn't a crazy difference. Both of our teams weren't winning and things like that. In my second year, I was an all-star starter. And so I really didn't face any scrutiny and like really backlash until after the long playoff run. When you go through that long playoff run, and then you that next season, if you don't get that to that spot or further, it's not good. And for me, I accept that, and I'm okay with that. And so for me, I think dealing with people and outside noises, it doesn't faze me, because I know the work I put in and what I do in the games and what I've done so far, and so I don't let all what other people affect me. But I feel like it started in college, and I was able to learn and go through that, and but it really started for me in the NBA after I went on that long run, and I'm okay, because my expectations is to get to that level and further. So if they don't happen, I'm mad too. So
right, it's true. And also we were talking about this with Gil, and like, it stuck on my mind, because like, I want to hear this from all the players, but we have an obligation to do the media every game, right? And obviously they have the time where they come in before the game, and then everybody duck out and go to the training room. Then they leave and we go back in the locker room. But at some point you got to see them. And what Gilbert was saying, it was him and what's my man, number 1 in your draft class, John Wall. We were saying him and John Wall came in and Gil was still the man. And the media kind of tried to bring in some beef between them. And so, ET and I, we've talked about you a bunch, and I've I've been guilty of over criticizing your game, and then ET's like, no, I played with Shorty, this, and that, and the other. And so now I'm watching you different. I'm like, you know what? I was wrong. You were absolutely right. Like, there's a different perspective there. But sometimes we let the media create a perception. And I know what's happened to you and your coaches. And, you know, they're writing something the coach said, and they try to take something that you said, and they create a issue, and it was never there. So how have you, same question, how have you matured, or how are you starting to handle, you know, dealing with messaging and then how it's put out as the head of your franchise?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I've tried to follow you guys and try to start my own podcast and try to have like a platform where I can like, I'm not necessarily just gonna let certain things slide no more. Like, there's been a lot of stories and things said about me that just aren't true. And like, if people, like my teammates, like hopefully would vouch for me if they spoke, but like they would understand some of the things it's not true or whatever. But I don't let it affect me, and I'm to the point now I got my own platform, and if things aren't true about me or things are said, I have something I can go to and give out the real message and from my voice, and not let anybody pick pieces and move certain things here to make it sound what they want it to be like. So,
You ever feel like with the first 5 years that you had and all the success that you had, sometimes like not so much being like, yo, stop calling me a coach killer, stop calling me this, but just let me do my job. The first 4 years, led the league in assists, all NBA third team. Took a team that you didn't think was going to go anywhere. I definitely didn't think when I left. Y'all was going to go to Eastern Conference Finals that next year. But you ever sit there and just be like, bro, let a pro be a pro, and can y'all just shut the hell up? Y'all don't bother Aaron. Like, for the sake, y'all don't bother Aaron Rodgers. You don't bother Chris Paul. You don't bother anybody in this sense of the matter. Let me be the leader I'm going to be, but at the same time, like, the adaptation, I'm going to work with a coach, not get managed by a coach, especially in your position, because you or point guard, quote unquote. Yeah,
I mean, I think for sure, I want to say that, but at the same time, I know they got to do their job too. Like I know they got to do what they have to do, and I think one reason why they may look at me in a different. I mean, I'm a like one and done point guard. Like you just like if you think of the one and dones, it's like me, Kyrie, and like John, like that really is like Chris Paul, Steph, like. Some of the best guards have like been to school multiple years, come in more mature and like certain things at certain levels. So when a 19-year-old comes in as a leader of a franchise, like you know what I'm saying? It's like it's like a lot of growing you have to do and a lot of the years that you have to go through. So like when I'm a 20-year-old and I'm still, or a 21-year-old and I'm still like, and I'm an all-star starter averaging 30 and 9, like it's not common, but like at the same time, just because it doesn't happen every year after that, it's like it doesn't mean it's not the same level, or he's not trying to be better in certain areas and things that like you got to go through years and you got to learn and go through certain experiences. And I feel like just certain people just don't let me have that time to go through it, and that's okay. I don't fault anybody, 'cause I know everybody has to go through and do their job. So, but I just think that's the difference for real.
Now, I want to talk about your podcast. I'm super excited about it. First, like, how'd you come up with the name? You know, what are your goals from it? And what should we look forward to when we're listening in?
So, I mean, it was me and my homies, Max and Winston. Sounds like the homies. Max and Winston. You guys sound maniacal.
Yeah. So we came up with this podcast. They knew I wanted to start one, and they kind of came up with the name together, and we talked about it and stuff, and that's how From the Point came, and that was cool. And so we've just been working together on this, and for really, it's not necessarily like, I didn't want to tell Draymond because he's so passionate, but it's not like an every week type of thing for me. It's not going to be like a every 3 times a week type of thing for me. It's more about like a place where if I do have a certain guest on, like it'll be big in mine, like it'll be big for me, and it's a big reason for him to be on, or certain news or certain things that I want to get off, or like my shoe colorways, or some things coming up, like events coming out. Like I have like a place I can go to, and if I want to get off a message, that'll be the place to go to. So for me.
No, I want to like look in the cameras when I say this. Like, this is like what we like hearing. You know, like a guy has you know, you got a brand behind you. You want to speak your voice. You know, like with the shoe thing is amazing. Like you got your own shoe, you got colorways, direct interaction with your fans. Like you cutting out the middleman. Like, no, I don't need you to tell my story. Like I'm telling it directly to you. And I think sometimes we don't realize, you know, the influence that we have. Like, you know, we were talking with some other athletes about this too. Like we got to start being in tune with each other. Like, okay, making sure you let us know what you do, and then we're telling other guys, like, look, you got to follow Trae Young's playbook. Like, he did something that's never been done before, and then you're going to start seeing other guys do these things, and it's going to be coming from you. So, like, we got to understand, like, we really are geniuses. Like, it's only but one of you on Earth, like, for real.
No.
Like you said before, like, they comparing you to another one-on-one on Earth. So, you know, for me to
appreciate
you,
that.
like, just, like, I know you recognize it, but don't ever forget that.
No, I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
So next year, looking forward to, you know, getting back to the E12 Conference Finals. Like you spoke before, like players haven't been there. You know, looking to, you know, you got a new coach now. Quin Snyder was the first big school to reject me at Missouri.
What?
But I wasn't good enough. I'll be honest. At that time, I wasn't good enough. Yeah, I wasn't good enough at that time.
no.
But then he actually was. He coached us in Philly. So I got a good relationship with Quin, know him pretty well. I actually like him a whole lot. What he did in Utah was great. So what are you most excited about, and you know, what are some goals you have for the team?
Oh man, I'm just excited to have the start of a season with him. I mean, we've already been talking this whole summer. Like he'll send me a text, like a full page of like new stuff we're about to put in, and like he's just like a really just smart coach. Like he just always wants to talk basketball. Can talk for hours, and just really smart. And he's just a PG's dream as a coach for as far as like making sure everybody's gonna be where they need to be, and making sure and holding everybody accountable, including myself, and making sure that if somebody messes up, it's on them, because he lets you know, as including myself too. So it's really, I'm literally looking forward to playing this year with them. And having him as my coach for sure.
And the relationship you have with DJ, the longevity, it seems like it's going to be, you know, a long-term thing. Yeah. Talk about that balance and that chemistry that you all had, and you know, the difference of having that, you know, defensive-minded, you know, also another playmaker on the ball that, you know, can take it out your hands and, you know, get you shots as well. How's that helped your career so far, and what's the difference, and where you think you can take it?
Yeah, I mean, he's been like such a great teammate for me so far. Obviously, we both knew it was going to be some struggles and times that we would, have to go through. And I think we didn't finish like we wanted to as an AC. But like for us both being PGs, having the ball in our hands, like I have with our teams, it's something that we had to go through in a growing period. But now I think like, since this summer, like there's a lot of things that we've been talking, a lot of new things that's going to be added to next season, and I'm just looking forward. Like for me, I hate talking about it. Like, you know me, like I love just hooping and going and playing, and I'd rather just show it rather than talk about it. So there's a lot of good things that's going to be different than last season as far as how we played and played off each other, and so it's going to be fun.
No, for me, I only got like one more like really question, just a conversation. Like when we are in the league and, you know, we start out, it's like fun. It's just like, I'm living my dream. But over time, you know, I play too damn long. It just becomes like I start reacting to the wrong things. Like how do we only read negative stuff, right? It's just like, I don't know if it's human nature. And so, you know, are you still having fun? That's what I really want to ask.
No, for sure. Like,
and it looks like it too, but
yeah. Like I'm like, and for me, like, I had like my son is just turned a year old. Like, I'm about to have a daughter here in a couple months. Like, I'm like, for me, like that's why I'm having fun too. So like, I know I got like a different lens that I'm looking through than I did a couple years ago, or even when I was coming in.
Oklahoma to Cali, it's a big difference.
That's a big difference, but I still got my place in Oklahoma too. So
yeah. And you just got married, right?
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm married. Shit.
Oh yeah.
Damn. I'm just fucking around.
Join the club, man. I'm joining the club.
No.
ET next.
Oh nah, I'm waiting until everybody get divorced. I'm getting married in my 40s. I'm just joking.
Oh, he can rap it.
All right, now, so, yo, Trae, once again, thanks for coming on the show. You know, thanks for pulling up. You know, always been a big fan, and, you know, good luck on your season this year, and just keep doing your thing.
Nah, man, appreciate it. Nah, trust me, first of all, I've been fans. I've been coming to the games when I was in pre-draft. Like, I've been a fan
remember
of
that.
you, man, for a minute. Like, I've been a teammate with you, man. I learned so much, and just more off the court than on the court, just because you weren't able to hoop. And I've seen you, man, just appreciate everything, bro. Like, just everything, and coming to the games, always supporting. So, you know, I got hella love for you. So, appreciate y'all having me on, man.
Yep.
No
Thank
doubt,
you,
my
sir.
guy.
Thank you.